You're lying in bed at 2 a.m. replaying a conversation from 3 years ago. Your brain won't stop. What if I said something wrong? What do they think of me? What if everything falls apart? Sound familiar? You're not alone. Studies show the average person spends nearly 70% of their waking hours trapped in repetitive thoughts, most of them negative. That's not living. That's mental prison. But here's what's interesting. Japan, despite being one of the most high-pressure societies in the world, has developed ancient practices that silence the mental noise. These aren't trendy self-help hacks. They're centuries-old philosophies still used today. The problem isn't that you think too much. The problem is, no one ever taught you how to think right. Overthinking isn't a sign of intelligence. It's a sign your mind lacks direction. Your brain is like a river. Without banks, it floods everything. Japanese culture understood this long before modern psychology caught up. You don't need meditation retreats or expensive therapy. You need practical habits that rewire how your brain processes worry. Here are 6 Japanese habits that actually stop overthinking. Let's break them down one by one. 1. Ikigai. Give your thoughts a purpose. Overthinking thrives in a vacuum. When you don't have a clear sense of purpose, your mind fills the emptiness with worry, doubt, and endless what-ifs. Ikigai is the Japanese concept of a reason for being, the intersection of what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be rewarded for. When you know your Ikigai, decisions become simpler. Your mind stops spinning because it has a compass. Japanese elders in Okinawa, one of the world's blue zones, credit Ikigai for their longevity and mental peace. They wake up every morning knowing exactly why they are alive. Here is a simple exercise. Write down one thing that excites you, one thing you are skilled at, and one way you can help others. Where do they overlap? That is your starting point. Overthinking disappears when your mind has somewhere meaningful to go. 2. Shinrin-yoku, forest bathing for a cluttered mind. In the 1980s, Japan introduced Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing, as a national health program. It is not hiking or exercise. It is simply being present in nature, letting the forest wash over your senses. Research from Chiba University found that just 15 minutes of forest bathing lowers cortisol levels by 16% and reduces overthinking significantly. Why? Nature forces your brain out of rumination mode. The sounds, smells, and sights demand gentle attention, pulling you out of your head and into the present moment. You do not need a forest. A park, a garden, even a tree-lined street works. The key is to walk slowly, breathe deeply, and let your senses lead. Your anxious thoughts cannot survive when your brain is busy noticing the wind on your skin. 3. Hara Hachibu. Stop at 80% in everything. This Okinawan practice means eat until you are 80% full. But the principle extends far beyond food. Overthinking often comes from overcommitting to tasks, to perfection, and to controlling outcomes. When you push yourself to 100% capacity in everything, your mind has no room to breathe. Japanese culture values restraint. Leaving 20% space is not laziness. It is wisdom. It prevents burnout and keeps your mind from spiraling into anxiety about keeping up. Apply this to your day. Do not fill every hour. Do not answer every email immediately. Do not chase perfection in every task. When you stop at 80%, you create mental margin, and in that margin, overthinking loses its grip. The goal is not doing more. It is doing enough. 4. Wabi-sabi. Embrace imperfection. Western culture worships perfection. Japanese culture celebrates wabi-sabi, the beauty of imperfection, impermanence, and incompleteness. That cracked tea bowl tells a story. That unfinished painting breathes. Overthinkers torture themselves trying to get everything right. They replay mistakes, analyze flaws, and fear judgment. Wabi-sabi teaches the opposite. Flaws are not failures, they are features. When you accept that life is inherently imperfect, You stop exhausting yourself trying to control every outcome. Here is the shift. Next time you catch yourself obsessing over a mistake, ask yourself if this will matter in 5 years. Usually, the answer is no. Let it go. The Japanese mend broken pottery with gold, a practice called kintsugi, because the cracks make it more valuable. Your imperfections are not something to hide. They are proof you have lived. 5. Ma, the power of pause. Ma is a Japanese concept that is difficult to translate. It means negative space, or pause, the emptiness between things. In music, it is the silence between notes. In conversation, it is the breath before a response. Overthinkers fear silence. They fill every gap with noise, every pause with worry. But Ma teaches that emptiness is not uncomfortable. It is essential. The space between your thoughts is where clarity lives. Try this. When you feel your mind racing, stop. Do not try to solve anything. Just pause. Take 3 slow breaths. Let the silence exist without filling it. In that pause, your nervous system calms. Your brain stops treating every thought as urgent. Ma is the art of doing nothing and realizing that nothing is exactly what you needed. 6. Kaizen. Tiny steps dissolve big fears. Overthinking often comes from feeling overwhelmed. The task feels too big, the problem too complex, so your brain panics and spirals. Kaizen, the philosophy of continuous small improvement, is the antidote. Instead of tackling everything at once, ask yourself, what is the smallest step you can take right now? Not the whole project, not the entire solution, just one tiny action. Japanese companies used Kaizen to rebuild after World War II, transforming devastated industries into global leaders through incremental progress. The same principle works for your anxious mind. When you break overwhelming problems into microscopic steps, fear loses its power. Your brain stops catastrophizing because the next step is always manageable. Overthinking thrives on enormity. Kaizen starves it with simplicity. The choice is yours. Think about the last time your mind was truly quiet, not distracted, not numbed, but genuinely at peace. For most people, that moment is rare, but it does not have to be. These 6 habits are not about suppressing your thoughts. They are about giving your mind better things to do. Purpose over panic, nature over noise, restraint over exhaustion, imperfection over impossible standards, pause over pressure, progress over paralysis. The Japanese did not develop these practices by accident. They emerged from centuries of understanding that the mind, left unchecked, becomes its own worst enemy. You have spent enough nights staring at the ceiling, trapped in loops that lead nowhere. You have wasted enough energy worrying about things you cannot control. So here is the choice. Keep drowning in your own thoughts, or start using these habits today. The top 1% will not just watch this and scroll to the next video, they will take action. The question is, will you? Pick one habit, just one. Try it for a week and watch what happens to your overthinking. Drop a comment and tell me which one you are starting with. Do not forget to subscribe for more wisdom on living smarter, not harder. Change your mind, change your life. That is the Japanese way.